In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection HK-87 Assassin Droid from the Ahsoka series. Hi there, Star Wars collectors, and welcome to another Bossk's Bounty video. And as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to be taking a look at the Star Wars The Vintage Collection HK-87 Assassin Droid from the Ahsoka series. This is the third figure that I've reviewed now from the most recent wave of Vintage Collection figures. Hopefully you've already seen my videos of the Grand Inquisitor and the Grand Admiral Thrawn figures as well. So this is the third one of that wave that I'm going to be reviewing. Let's take a look at the card back. On that Ahsoka card, with the lime green name pill, with the lime green behind the figure is all red, just like he is on that image there. But we have seen other versions of this droid in the Ahsoka series. There's versions of them that have like a tan body or a mixture of red and tan. And those look pretty similar to the ones that were featured in the Mandalorian season as well, in that episode where Ahsoka had the showdown with Morgan Elsbeth, who is obviously the one of the main villains from the Ahsoka series. There she is. We're going to be reviewing that figure very soon on the channel. So we got VC294, that's this particular figure's number in the line. And although I don't think that image is taken directly from the show, it is a pretty good image of the droid there with the scenery behind him. That's pretty much from the first episode, I believe. I'm wondering there if I've got the slight ring of death on this card back. I think I have, ever so slightly. But there he is in the bubble, looking pretty cool. I can't wait to open this one and take a look, so we're going to do that right now. Alright then, so here he is out of the packaging. This is the HK-87 Assassin Droid from the Ahsoka series, looking pretty awesome there. I've got him holding his spear or lance, and he also has his soft goods on as well. I do have him on a figure stand at the moment. That's not because I wasn't able to get him to stand up without it, but I just wanted to prove that, you know, rocker ankles aren't the sole reason for, you know, terrible peg holes. This guy has rocker ankles and he has great peg holes as well. So it's not always the rocker ankles that are the cause of poor peg holes. Now you'll see that this guy's a nice red colour. As I mentioned earlier, you know, he isn't the only version of the HK-87 droid that's in the Ahsoka show. There is another one that's like almost like a deeper red, I want to say, with some tan colours on him as well. I do believe the Black series has both versions, I think. Don't think it'll be too long before we get another version in the Vintage Collection, to be honest. But I think the red version in the Black series, if I'm not mistaken, is more of a brighter red, more in line with what the like Sith troopers are and stuff. And I didn't think that was too accurate. Maybe they've changed it. Maybe it's just the promo images that I saw. But I'm quite liking this red. It's more of a toned down sort of crimson red, as I said. And I'm liking the look of him. I like the soft goods and everything. So he's looking pretty cool. We will take a closer up look at the figure in a second, but I just wanted to get him in that simple pose there just to show you. And also he does come with a blaster as well. Nowhere to store the blaster on the figure unless he's holding it, of course, but this blaster I'm pretty sure we've seen before. It looks very, very similar to the blasters that you get with the battle droids from episode 1, or from the prequels basically. That's what that looks like to me. Also, I just wanted to bring in HK-50, which is a builder droid, just to show you a bit of a difference here. Of course, completely different. But we are going to be getting a repaint of this guy, HK-47 is he, in the Vintage Collection in that 2-pack with Revan. Just wanted to show you another droid there that's kind of from the same line. Anyway, let's take a look at the figure close up. Okay then, so here is the figure nice and close up for you so you can see all the detail of the sculpt. Now one thing that I would say is that I'm not that impressed with the paint apps on this figure. There is none basically. You've got a tiny bit of silver on there, but apart from that you haven't really got any other paint apps whatsoever on the helmet. I don't know how accurate that is to the show, but I would have thought, you know, just at least a bit of weathering or something would have given it a bit more detail, just to maybe bring out some of that detail of that sculpt. Instead, we're left with sort of trying to work out what's what, because it is all one colour. I'm just going to take the cape off now so we can see the rest of the figure. Now, you do not need to take the head off the figure to be able to take the soft goods off. It just pops off over his head nice and easy. And underneath those soft goods, the figure actually looks really good. So you can actually see that he does have a bit of weathering on his chest plate there. You've got a few bits of battle damage and things like that. So they've actually done it there. It's just on the head, there is zero paint apps apart from that tiny weeny bit. Even on the back there, nothing at all. You can see the grey plastic that they've used for his neck. And yeah, I just do like the sort of battle damage that's going on with him. Notice how thick the arms are and that we do still have a hinge on the elbow, which is pretty cool. Some other figures didn't really get that treatment. We won't go into detail of which one, but I think we all know which one I'm talking about. But let's have a look at the articulation anyway of this figure. So the head is on a double barbell, which we are very used to now with these vintage collection figures. The shoulders are on ball hinges and they go up really, really high. What I would say is that you must be really careful with these joints, very much like the K2SO figure and the IG-11. They are very delicate hinges and you want to be careful not to snap the pins in those hinges. You can see the shoulder piece there is attached underneath the armour and it is made of soft vinyl plastic as well. So it does stay up there, but you can just move it back down like so. But it does move independently to the arm. So it can lift up there and then his arm can spin around. And if you were to hold it and move his arm would move independently, which is pretty cool as well. We do have the hinge on the elbow. As I said, be very, very careful with that. When you first remove it from the package, you want to sort of loosen that up a little bit before you start moving it. Can't see any hinges on the wrists because they are super, super tiny, but they do have a swivel in there. And then he has this ball at the top of the torso there, and he has a waist swivel as well on the lower torso. Now this is where it gets a little bit complicated with the legs because the legs are on those new barbell hips. You can just about see them in there, but unfortunately this part of the armor, whichever way you go, seems to get in the way of you being able to do any kind of sort of splits or getting his leg into certain positions, because if you move the pin that way and then try to move it, it still gets caught on the back there. So you don't have too much range of motion with the legs, in my opinion. If I played around with it a little bit more, I might be able to get him into some different poses. But at the moment, those joints do feel a little bit tight and it is difficult to get him into any sort of real pose. You can see there, if we just move that pin, it just doesn't seem to want to move as well as other figures do that have that sort of barbell hips. He has this split at the thigh, which, you know, is just going to pop out basically. And I would say that this figure is quite bendy in terms of the plastic that they've used. But he does have a knee hinge as well. Knee and swivel, of course. And then, as I mentioned, he has the rocker ankles as well. And there's your peg holes. Perfectly good peg holes for the rocker ankles. So all in all, I'm liking the look of this figure. It's good to have them. I'm sure it won't be the last time that we have this figure. I'm sure they'll give us like the squad leader or whatever. There was one that looked a little bit different to the others. And of course, the other one that's painted in like a tan and red. I'm sure we'll get him as well. He was also featured in The Mandalorian, the Morgan Elsbeth Magistrate episode. There was a few of them there as well. So I'm pretty sure that Hasbro aren't going to be done with this. We will probably see some more of them, maybe in a 4-pack or something. But I'd be up for that. I think it's a pretty cool figure. So there you go then. That is HK-87. Let's put the soft goods back on, so you can see that now, because I do think that makes the figure look great. It's a bit like the Magna Guards in that respect. They look much better with the soft goods on, I feel. And there you go. In terms of the accessories, there is his lance. Bendy piece of plastic, not too bad actually. Some detail on there, but no paint apps whatsoever, just a grey piece of plastic. And then his blaster is all in black. Again, no weathering, no paint apps whatsoever. And yeah, I'm 99.9% sure that that is the same blaster that you get with the battle droids. And it's not too bendy. It's not too bendy. Okay then, and to finish up, there is the droid holding the blaster. And I'm not going to lie to you, that was a mission to try and get him to hold the blaster in both hands. His hands are quite gummy, and they really aren't designed that well to hold that blaster. But you can see it is achievable. And once it's there, he's holding it basically. But I wouldn't try moving it because it'll fall out of his hands, no worries. There you go then, that's my review for the HK-87 Assassin Droid from the Ahsoka series. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Hit the like button down below if you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and we shall see you on the next one.